President Biden soaking up the sun while chaos unfolds under his administration's watch. Our commander-in-chief landed in the U.S. Virgin Island of St. Croix yesterday, and he will be ringing in the new year at a luxurious beachfront home owned by some of his Democratic power donors. Sounds very nice, don't you think? Well, anyway, it is nothing new for our commander-in-chief. He has spent about 40% of his presidency on vacation, and while the president relaxes on the beach, the crisis at our southern border is reaching levels that we have never seen before. Unprecedented. December is on pace to be yet another record month, and a massive new migrant caravan is set to make things a whole lot worse. That is headed in this direction, and the problem has gotten so bad that even Democrats and the liberal media cannot ignore this any longer. Now the mayors of Denver, Chicago, New York, all blue sanctuary cities, are begging the federal government for help.
This is unacceptable. Our city here in Eagle Pass, we've been getting slammed with 2,000 to 3,000 people a day, and it's just an unfair, unethical situation. What's going on here in Eagle Pass, we feel ignored by the federal government.
Without real significant investment from our federal government, it won't just be the city of Chicago that won't be able to maintain this mission. It's the entire country that is now at stake.
Denver finds itself right now at ground zero in trying to resolve and respond to the migrant crisis. We need more federal support to be able to manage this amount of inflow.
Those who should have been helping us in government every step of the way just critiqued us. I am not seeing the light at the end of the tunnel from the federal government. And I think we can't treat this as a policy. We have to treat it as an urgency.
The call has been made, and immigration also one of the top voters, as far as voters are concerned, one of those top of mind issues heading into this pivotal 2024 election year. Even CNN agrees.
What do voters think about immigration right now?
Yeah, it's becoming a real top issue here. So the top issue facing the nation. Look, the economy is still number one. It was number one in August. It's number one now. But take a look at the immigration/border security. It was just at 11% in August. Look where it's hopped to now, 19%. So it's closing in on the economy. The most Google searches for migrants by state. Look at all these states, Phil. They're all blue states. Illinois is 1, New York is 2, Massachusetts is 3, New Jersey is 4, Colorado is 5, and of course, there's been a lot of talk about the migrant crisis in both Illinois and New York, and it seems like even voters in those states, very blue states, states that Democrats win in general elections almost always, they are focusing on this issue as well.
Perhaps part of that is that these states and these cities are beginning to really feel the impact because the migrants have come there. Massachusetts, a major problem with their shelter system, now overrun. Todd, your thoughts?
Well, to that point, it's almost like these cities and states are just realizing that we are in an immigration crisis, whereas let's be realistic. We're in a crisis now, but this problem of immigration has been ongoing for years, if not decades. And just because it's starting to hit their cities and towns, they're starting to complain about it. What I find fascinating, Texas never held themselves out there as a sanctuary state, yet they are the ones that are bearing the brunt. And when they try to distribute this out to the rest of the country, to those cities and towns that put themselves out there, they're the ones, Greg Abbott in particular, that are getting a lot of flack from these very, very liberal cities and mayors and governors. And that is just so shocking to me. Also, when it comes to Mexico, I hear that they're putting forward a task force to solve this problem. I think anytime you hear the phrase, we're putting together a task force, that is a clear sign that what you are doing is nothing, and this is just for show. Final point, Mayor Adams here in New York City is, by executive action and executive order, so that always raises some eyebrows, now saying any bus that comes into this area that's a charter bus must give him 32 hours notice. Obviously, let's be real, that is to interdict that bus because he doesn't want more migrants here. I would argue, Kara Frederick, play lawyer with me here for a moment, that is a violation of the Commerce Clause because that involves a bus company in interstate commerce, which is their job. You are interfering with that job. If I'm that bus company, if I'm the state of Texas, I sue based upon the Commerce Clause.
Yeah, it's not just the buses, the plane. Our own Bill Malugin, consistently great reporting on this issue across the board, saw this sign at the Tucson airport in Arizona directing non-U.S. citizens without passports into a special line for domestic flights all across the country. So the migrants all across the country. Now this has really become a national problem. It always has been, but it seems like the leadership in some of these cities are noticing it now, Kara.
Yeah, and we've always said at the Heritage Foundation that every state is a border state now because, yeah, you saw what happened in Arizona, you saw what happened in Texas. Now people are feeling the pain. We remember Martha's Vineyard and how quickly they got those illegals out of there. And this is intentional. We know it's intentional. 10,000 illegal border crossings a day, probably more than that. That's what we've determined. And it's not just, as you say, a national issue. It's an international issue. It's a national security issue because we know that these are coming from high-risk countries when it comes to terrorism, when it comes to these specialized versions of countries where we know a lot of terrorism emanates out of that. I used to do counterterrorism for the government. This is a big problem when you have military-age males crossing the border with no accountability. It's a national security threat. I would not be surprised if we already have sleeper cells in the United States because we are not keeping accounts of these people. We are not vetting them. We don't know who they are. We don't know why they're here. We don't know what they're bringing with them. We don't know how many, frankly, this is happening. And if it weren't for people like Bill Malugin and his tenacious reporting exposing this, I think Americans wouldn't know until the big one hits. And that's what I'm concerned about as a national security professional. We need to be aware. Keep your essay up, everybody, because I fear that it might be coming if we don't clamp down right now.
Yeah, Kara, really centering in on that issue of terrorism and this being a national security issue, and all of these leaders, city and states, talking about how this is really hitting home in communities all across the country, as well as our own homeless and veterans. And this is just an issue that has a major domino effect here.
It does. It's, once again, the Democrats not thinking about the second day, not caring about the second day. It's about the agenda, the ideology, the mission, very much like what Harvard's dealing with. They're not thinking about what all of this means, and then they just scramble. One thing I can say about Joe Biden, though, and his vacations is he's the Captain Steubing president. It's, on a cruise ship, there's the real captain, and then there's the show captain who has the dinners and walks around and meets the cruisers, but they're not really running the ship. So you don't need to worry about that. I mean, now the world doesn't realize that. We understand that, but we don't know who's running the country. And the agenda attached to something so outrageous that is putting everyone at risk, you would think even a broken clock is right twice a day, that this should be stopped because it's almost as though it's so bad, they're frozen into not knowing what to do because then I would again say like Harvard, it really kind of destroys the entire theory from the start. The moment it kind of proves Trump being right, is that they have to go back to that dynamic. And I think that's the problem. But many people's lives are at risk as a result of their bullheadedness.
Yeah. It is an election year. We're on the cusp of a new year, 2024. And at least one Democratic congressman out of Texas is concerned about what this potentially could mean for Democrats and the president as well. Take a listen.
We're losing Democrats. They feel that the Democratic Party, that the president is not doing enough, and we're going to lose a lot of Democrats, and it's because we're not doing the right thing at the border.
Bringing the good doctor here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's completely right. How many Democrats switched to Republicans in Pennsylvania? More than 30,000 recently. That's a sign, indication of where our country is going. But you know what, Molly? We're breaking records today, records that we're not very proud of. We're going to hit, 400,000 migrants in the month of December in the past fiscal quarter. I mean, this is terrible, outrageous numbers. And, it's because we're sending out a message, a global message that we're open, come on down. And what it's doing is it's overwhelming and overflooding the sanctuary cities. The sanctuary cities are drowning. And I can attest to that firsthand because right here, the Port Authority, where the buses come in, where immigrants come in, where I work, where I'm going after, this show, my shift to take care of illegal immigrant patients every day. And I tell you, it's heartbreaking, some of the stories that I hear, what they go through. We talk about inhumanity. I mean, I've talked to a parent, a mom of an immigrant child who came in, little girl. She was sick with a parasite that she picked up from crossing through the waters. Very sick, very unwell. We were able to take care of her. And I asked Mom, what was the journey like? How did you get here? And she had to make 7 stops to get here, to get to Mexico. And then, there was a point where her daughter was crying dying. She was hungry. They had no food. And she told me that the Mexican cartels threatened to take her away. I had another patient, a father came in with his son, and I asked him what was the hardest part of his journey. He told me that everywhere he went, he had to pay the police, the Mexican cartels to pass through. And that's not to mention the stabbings of patients that I had. And I asked my immigrant patient who barely spoke English, why didn't you call 911? Why didn't you go to the hospital when you were stabbed and when you're bleeding? And, I almost broke down in the room. He told me he didn't want to be deported. He didn't want to have to go back. So this is the inhumanity that we're putting these people through by not securing the border.
Great point, Doctor. And these are the fortunate people that come to reach you and to get medical care. So a horrible, terrible journey.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.